Hello, Otis. Hello. Beautiful Sunday morning in early April. I'm going to finish hanging out this washing, go and grab a coffee if you want to get one too, and then I'll tell you what's happening in this week's video. Hi guys, welcome back to Settle in Spain. I'm Amanda. That's Dave back there, if you can see him, there he is. And we are joined on this crazy journey by our cats Chewy, Impy and our dog Otis, and they do appear from time to time. You're going to see quite a bit of Otis on this one because he has his friend Sophie come and visit us again. Keep watching to the end to see that. This week then, I've got my paper with my notes on it. This week there's me doing some work with some windows. We've got a lot of windows in the house. Many of them don't have glass in. Don't know if they really count as windows. But I'm recycling some old windows that we've picked up secondhand, and you can see how that process is going. Next, we start to make the outside bathroom actually usable. There's no plumbing inside the property, but there is an outside bathroom that was there when we bought it. It's not fully working order, but we're making it so. And in this one, you're going to see a couple of different ways that we're doing that, including doing some more recycling, which Dave is up to. There's also a sneak peek this week at a special with Dave in it. He went on a very long trip up to the UK, to Yorkshire, in our old VW T4, and we're going to have a special on Wednesday showing that journey, and you get a sneak peek of that in this video this week. So I think that's it for this week, guys. I hope you enjoy it. Don't forget to subscribe and do share around with your friends and family. That's the best way you can help our channel. Thanks, and see you on the next one. This week then began with me taking apart one of these windows, wooden framed with a single pane of glass and a wooden shutter. It's a traditional style of window that you see everywhere here in Spain. These were not particularly antique, but they'd obviously had a life before in another property. We picked them up secondhand on Facebook Marketplace for €70 for 7 of them, which is just such a huge bargain. And you know me, I like to try and use as little of the world's resources as I can while we're doing this project. So being able to buy secondhand is just not only cost effective for us, but also a lot better for the environment. It was lovely to work under the winter sun, under the carport in the front of the house there. Dave was busy working out back and occasionally came forward to give me some help and advice on how to take this apart. It's not something either of us had ever done before. As we've said many times, we're completely new to doing any kind of renovation, and this is such a huge project. We really are learning as we go along. You can find out what he's doing coming up in a minute. It does something cute all the time. Some of the window furniture was easier to unscrew or take apart than others, mainly because it had been painted over. More than once, I think. The table that I'm working on out front there is one that we've put together from things we found around the house. The two trestles had mincers on them. They were screwed in, and then the top is part of an old MDF style wardrobe. So very much make do and mend here, but it wasn't quite the right height. So what I did was, when my back had had enough of using that, I then brought my bits of the window across to where the skip is at the front of the house and used that as a table. And when I got too hot, went back again underneath the carport. Each section of the window had to be scraped, first of all, of as much of the paint as I could, and then sanded. I'll spare you any more of that noise. The sound that that particular sanding attachment made was such that it actually got Otis howling. He was just in the window behind me there, and it set him off every single time. It was just that right frequency to get him going. Not your favourite noise, that one, is it, Otis?
What are you doing?
Hopefully creating a beautiful window.
It'll create faster and quicker. Beautiful day out there, isn't it?
It's a lovely day out.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel like winter today, does it?
No.
Next, we needed to think about what colour we were going to paint these windows, or were we going to keep them natural wood. Different choices available to us. These are the colours of the different doors and window around the house at the moment. As you can see, the metal ones tend to be more of a green, the wooden more of a bluey green, and then the front door there is actually a grey. So, what colour would you have chosen? Comment down below and you'll find out in a minute what colour we decided on. So, for those who have spotted I'm wearing something different, this was a different day. But I just wanted to add that we really did find these tungsten scrapers were by far and above the best way to get the paint off those windows. Yes, it was still hard work, but pressing down on it, it really did work well. I recommended them also to a friend who was doing a very similar job, and she also found them to be extremely efficient compared with all the other means available. So there you go. That's our recommendation for getting the paint off windows that are made of wood. When it came to sourcing paint, we do have local hardware stores in the village, but they don't have the largest selection. They're good for your basic whites. But if you want something a little different, if you want colour mixing, you need to go down to a bigger town. We knew that down in the town of Albox there were a couple of places that did paint mixing. We've picked up some paint for some friends before for their house. So we headed to one of the places we've been to for them, had a look at the colour swatches. These then are the kinds of colours we were looking at, the blues, the greens, the turquoises. While we were down in Albox, we also went to a couple of other places. One of which is called the Tile Graveyard, and that's for a project that we also had in mind. I wanted to have David with me to choose some of these colours and tiles because he was due to go on a really long trip. In our next video, you're going to be seeing his strip, and you'll find out more about those tiles. Although I hadn't finished completely scraping down and sanding all the parts of the window yet, I couldn't resist getting the paint open and having a go at painting some bits that were finished, just so David could have a look and see what it was going to look like. He was due to be away for a whole month, so he would miss the rest of the process. So there you go, it's a turquoise colour we've chosen, very Mediterranean, very Spanish and Greek, kind of links in with the life that we've led and the places that we've lived, and also fits the house really well. Now I know I've explained previously that we have bulk rubbish days here where you can put anything out by the big bins in the village and they are collected. They're twice a month. It's also a good chance to go dumpster diving, as my American friend calls it, and find little treasures that are going to be of use to us. Dave was working on a project trying to work out something for the house to get us moved in. You'll find out a bit more about that in a minute. But one thing he was looking for was some nice straight pieces of wood. This old bed frame was going to be just what was required. So there you go, at the end of a long day working at the house, one man's trash is another man's treasure. As you can see, it was cloudy, it was also still cold and quite wintry, but those old beams that had been hollowed out by the bees at the front of the house on the porch were still keeping us really nice and warm over at the rental house. So while I've been scraping and sanding and painting, David had been working out back, and he needed my hand. He needed an extra pair of hands to get this old electric water boiler down off the wall. It's no longer in good working order. It's full of the build-up from the minerals in the water here and would not be efficient these days anyway. It was extremely heavy, and we had to work out how to get the thing off the wall. Again, something we've never done before. So, it had been disconnected from the water, it had been disconnected from the bathroom, the electrics were also all disconnected, and we were getting ready to fit new electrics out there. We needed this thing out of the way. Just lifting it didn't seem to be moving very much. So we figured we just needed to loosen the bolts a bit more, and David wanted to get something in case this thing actually was landing on his shoulder. Trying to just lift it just wasn't working, it wasn't going anywhere. It took us a while to realise we needed to slide it slightly and then push it up a little bit. It was going to come off much better that way. A lesson learned then. We later found this water heater still had water in it. Although we thought it was empty, it was not. So always double check, guys. And while I was working out front on the windows, Dave had been removing the sink and the bidet from that outside bathroom we have out back. We're not going to need that sink and bidet anymore. We have other plans for sinks that we're going to put in bathrooms, and we're not really bidet people, to be honest with you. So these actually went to a friend who is making use of them at her place. So in order to move in, we needed to get that outdoor bathroom up and running again. And for those of you who've been following, you'll remember that we dug up the sewage system trying to find out where the septic system was. So we needed to get this reinstated. The old pipe wasn't in very good state anyway, and there wasn't a junction box there connecting things to stop smells going back up into the bathroom. So here's Derek cutting holes in that junction box in order to connect things together, and we can use this later when we then go off this box and into the house to take sewage out that way later. I'd collected the sewage pipe from the local hardware store, something that's actually relatively easy to get hold of here and not expensive either. Derek then is cutting that with the angle grinder and going over the edge to make sure it's not sharp. We soon had it fitted, but he was not impressed by the tools available to do the job all the time that he was here. Derek, forgive me, but I had to show you with the pink trowel. And so the sewage system has been completely reinstated, and we can now use the toilet again in the house. And, well, in the house, I say in the house, it's not in the house, in the outdoor bathroom. And the sand left over from when Sammy was doing the roof has been put at the end there to cover that in. Next up, Dave's taking apart a pallet. There's a good reason for this. The outdoor bathroom is the only place at the property that has running water going to it. So when we move in, which hopefully will be soon, there needs to be a place where we can wash, where we can wash up, where we can do anything that requires water. And it's all going to happen in that one bathroom. Doing what we can with what we've got.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that'll do as a batten for the back of the sink.
it will. It'll work. This is the sink, kindly given to us by a friend who's had a new kitchen fitted. The top that it's currently in there in the cabinet is no good anymore. It's been moved around several times and is collapsing. So we need to make a new kitchen surface for it to be dropped into that we can use that's temporary. So we're using things we're finding, things that are lying around, pallets, and wood from the skip. This then that Dave is cutting is actually the base of an old MDF style wardrobe that we found in the house. So this is going to become the kitchen top, if you like, in the outdoor bathroom. But of course the walls there are not straight.
So, I'm just making a makeshift worktop, which I'm going to put this sink into. But who knew? Who knew? I don't have a blacker decker workmate because I can't afford one. Or can I? So I've been using a 200-year-old hand-carved alabaster sink as my worktop. Hardware store, I think.
Otis loves going for a walk with Dave. He gets a different walk with him than he does with me, and this time you can see a bit of it thanks to a new camera we've recently got, which is a DJI Action 3. You're going to be seeing us using that a lot more now going ahead. But this also meant it was heralding the end of Dave's visit home because he was only here for a week this time. He needed to go back in order to clear his mum's home. She has moved into a home now and her house needed sorting out, so he went up to help his sister and brother-in-law do that. This then means that I sent Dave off in our 20-year-old VW T4 to drive from southern Spain to Yorkshire in the winter. As you can imagine, it was an interesting journey for him, and one where I was quite concerned what was going to happen on the way. So here is a very, very short sneak peek of a special we have coming up on Wednesday, which is going to be all about Dave's journey from Spain to Yorkshire and back again. Not long after Dave left, Otis had a friend come visit. Rachel was going away for a weekend, so her dog came to stay with us once more, and they had so much fun. These two love chasing and playing around in the yard. I didn't get quite as much work as I should have done for a long weekend, though she did come on a couple of trips with me in the car with Otis and over to the house. It's just lovely to see two big dogs playing. So enjoy. Hope you enjoyed this week, guys, and we will see you on the next one next weekend, when there's going to be more plumbing in that bathroom, and you're going to have a laugh when you see what I do with trying to do some tiling. Don't forget to subscribe, like and share. It's the best thing you can do to help us. See you next time, friends.